Stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone. This is Monday, November 6th. If you have any questions or business with this council, come up to one of these microphones, give us your name and address. Give us your question, your comment, your concern, whatever's on your mind. Call the roll, please.
Cedar.
Here.
Ellery.
Here.
Kinsfater.
Here.
Kleeman.
Here.
Koopa.
Here.
Laporte.
Here.
McCartney.
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We'll go to consent agenda A. City Council minutes, October 16th, 2017, regular, and October 23rd, 2017, special meetings, recommendation approved, and the St. Clair Historical Commission minutes of September 14th, 2017, regular meeting, recommendation receive.
Make a motion, we approve.
I'll support.
All right, motion made, support, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll go to number 5, ordinances resolution adoption, 2017-4 sidewalks. Mr. Downey.
Your Honor, before council tonight for adoption is a proposed amendment to the sidewalk ordinance. It was introduced at our last regular meeting, and essentially what this amendment does is it retitles two sections of the sidewalk ordinance, in my estimation, to properly reflect the substance of those sections. The current right-of-way section is entitled a repair ordinance, and I think that should appropriately be under the previous designation of construction and repair. The subsequent section would be properly titled the St. Clair Public Right-of-Way Ordinance under that subheading. So it's just the adoption of those two changes to the nomenclature of the headings.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll support it.
All right, the motion made, supported. Questions?
Yeah, I have one. I'm gonna ask again, with this now, can the city make the residents repair their own sidewalk under this change?
No, it's just changing the title of the ordinance.
So the city's still
Sometimes.
gonna be responsible for repairing the sidewalks?
If that's the current policy doesn't change.
Anybody else? All right. Call the roll, please.
Kinsfater.
Yes.
Kleeman.
No.
Koopa.
Yes.
Laporte.
Yes.
McCartney.
Yes.
Ellery.
Yes.
Cedar.
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We'll go to Reports Administration, Mr. Booth.
Your Honor, I have a few items this evening. This Friday, November 10th, City Hall will be closed in observance of Veterans Day. A boardwalk meeting was held today to review the Palmer Park Boardwalk project. The goal is to have the project completed prior to our first event in the spring. As we move along and have I guess you'd say, a better timeline, I'll bring that forward to council. And then the last item I have this evening, Your Honor, is the Santa Parade is Friday the 17th, 6 p.m.
Any questions or anything for?
Yep, I have a couple. Trumbull Street, when are you gonna fix the puddles?
Which ones are you referring to, Mr.
No,
Cleveland?
the one in front of the funeral home and the one in front of the community center. The one in the street that just been repaired? Paved?
We'll
What's
get
what's
back to
the
you
word
at the
on it?
next meeting with an answer. And I know that they had done some repair work to it.
Now, do they have to put up a performance bond when they come in to do that? Can we use that bond money to fix them?
We're holding
For
back money.
mistakes?
We're holding back money on the project.
They don't have to have a performance bond when they work for the city?
As far as I know, they do not have a performance bond.
How much money are we holding back?
30-some thousand.
All right, my other question is, you talked about rebating garbage collection. Is that gonna happen anytime soon?
Not this quarter.
This year or anytime, I mean,
No, it would not be done this year. It would be done next year.
next year?
Yes.
Anything else from Mr. Booth? All right, we'll go to B. Mr. Downey, you have anything tonight?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
C, city departments, any departments here tonight? Go to D, authorities, boards, commissions, anybody? Okay, number 7, unfinished business, we don't have any of that. We'll go to 8, new business. 8A, approved purchase of AC unit wastewater plant. Mr. Booth.
Okay, included in your packet is a recommendation to award the replacement of 2 rooftop AC units for the wastewater plant to Classic Heating and Cooling in the amount of $18,720. The proposals have been reviewed by Jeff Chambers of our wastewater plant and DJ Boulier in our building department.
Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Karras earlier this evening, and he said because the current units are 30 years old, that he didn't have the proper information to give a correct bid. And had asked that some consideration would be given to that because the units were Lennox and they're 30 years old, and he wasn't privy to the information that Classic had. And I've dealt with both contractors, and both are very reputable, do an excellent job. I don't have a problem with that, but if one wasn't privy to the information, I think that maybe we should give him the opportunity to bid it, or
What
Rebid.
information wasn't he privy to?
the size of the units and that. He's got, from what he told me, he's got a double crane, one coming in to pick it up, find out what size unit's there, and then put them back in, and then order the unit, and then come back and install the new one. And both have done work for the wastewater.
I had a chance to talk to Mr. Karras too, and he said exactly the same thing to me. And if you look at the bids, 2 of the 3 bids are 10-ton unit and 3-ton unit. And if you look at Karras, he did a 4-ton unit because he apparently needed to look at the units to see exactly what needed to be put down. So I agree with Mr. Laporte.
What, should we entertain a motion to postpone the bid until more specs are given out? 'Cause I would
just-
make the motion.
Is there some information that was available to Classic that was not available to the other bidders?
According to Mr. Karras, there was.
Now that the numbers are public, will this give the opportunity to Mr. Karras to underbid the job?
What, I didn't get what you said.
Now that the numbers are public, would this give Mr. Karras the opportunity?
I don't know.
I don't know if you can do that, but
Are they
Well,
public?
that's a question for the attorney. Does that give the other applicant an unfair
rebid 'em.
advantage, or?
Now that the number has been published in our packet, it would.
What is your recommendation?
Well, we can just go back to the drawing board and just ask for new bids if that's the council's wish.
Rebid it?
Sealed.
Was there spec sheets on these, Mike, sent out to these bidders?
I can give you a breakdown. What I'll do is I'll come back to you with the exact specs that Jeff asked for. I know that there's 2 units down there currently. They're in the lab area, and they have heaters in there, or equipment that warms it up for testing. So that's why they need the AC units. But yeah, I don't know what he used for a spec, if he gave him the same or not. Apparently you're telling me he did not, so I would suggest maybe a sealed bid if that's the route they want to go. Would be the only way you could do it again, because the information is out, and we'll revisit the spec and make sure it's consistent amongst the group, whoever may want to bid in.
Do we need a motion to do that, or can we just, okay, let's ask for a motion to do that then.
I'll make a motion to postpone the bid in lieu
support.
of submitting a sealed bid.
All right, motion made and supported. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Kleeman,
Yes.
Koopa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
McCartney,
Yes.
Ellery,
Yes.
Kinsfater.
yes.
Cedar,
Yes.
carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Go to B, new business, approve appointment of chief of police, Mr. Booth.
Okay, included in your packet, you'll find a copy of the employment agreement offered to Mr. Raker. This appointment is a result of my internal posting and the subsequent review of the candidate. You'll also notice that it's effective December 14th, when our current police chief, Richard Jefferson, will be done.
Mr. Raker is here. Would you like to address this body?
I can. I've talked to most of you, but I mean, it's an honor to be considered for this position. Rick has put an incredibly professional department together. All these guys are really talented police officers, and you should be proud of that. And hopefully they make your citizens feel safe. And I just like to lead that ship. And will there be massive changes? No, but we're gonna improve what we need to improve and continue what has already been occurring. I've had the opportunity to work here for 10 months now and see the internal workings and see how the city operates. So I'm excited to get started, and if you have any questions.
Any questions for Tim? Thank you.
Good.
Your Honor, I would like to propose a motion to postpone the appointment until the last meeting in November. And it's, in all due respect to Mr. Raker and the process that the superintendent had put together, I was informed earlier today that Councilmember Cuffa has not had an opportunity to sit down with Mr. Raker administration to review his qualifications and those things.
I'll support that motion.
All right, the motion's been made and supported to postpone the appointment until this next meeting.
Yes.
Is there any questions or comments?
Given Mr. Cuffa time to do what we all have had a chance to do.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, then, before we call the roll, I understand the concerns, and Mr. Cuffa should have his opportunity, but I do believe that Mr. Booth put together a legitimate, charter-driven process, and he brought us a viable candidate. So I will be voting no to postpone, but don't take that as a slight to anyone. So call the roll, please.
Kupa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Ellery?
No.
Yes.
Kinsfater? Kleeman?
Yes.
Cedar?
No.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We'll go to claims and accounts, October 20th, 27th, November 3rd, 2017.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve as
Support.
presented.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll go to number 10, public comment, public questions. Anybody have anything out there for the good of cause?
Gregory Thompson, 560 North Riverside. You guys know me, 100 feet north of the inn. Just all good news. The inn is cranking right along. It's unbelievable. One Saturday morning, I was working really early, and I was hearing noise over there, and I'm thinking it's vandals or whatever, and I'm poking around and looking. It's actually the construction guys working on Saturday morning. And leaving for work one day, it's like 5:30 in the morning, and I saw headlights moving, heavy equipment, machinery around, so just figured I'd give you guys good news instead of my usual crabbing and nothing going on. So thanks a lot, guys.
We appreciate that. All right.
Does it matter which one?
Both work.
I'm Officer Schneider. You guys know me as Doug. I'm just here on behalf of myself. All of you guys do know me. I've had an opportunity, obviously, to work with Raker before he came to this department. I can vouch for him. He's an outstanding guy, both inside the office and outside. So if you guys have any questions, concerns, obviously you guys all have my number. You know where to look for me if you have any questions outside. But I strongly stand behind the decision, hopefully, to move forward with Raker as possibly our new chief. So thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Schneider. Any other public comment or questions tonight?
Hi, I'm Officer Elu. Obviously, I work for the St. Clair, the police department as well. And same as Officer Schneider here, I vouch to, show my support for Raker as hopefully the new chief. He works midnights. I worked on the opposite side of him, but we worked all the big events together, and I've learned so much from him. Obviously, I'm a new officer as well, but just the moral support and all the advice that he gives, I strongly support him. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? All right, and we will go to number 11. Mayor and council, any comments or announcements from anyone tonight? I do have one. At our last regular meeting, a resident approached this body, and we were talking about roads, and that I think the comment was something to the effect that we were favoring some certain areas and certain roads, and I just want to make sure that, and I know most people understand this, but The millage that was voted to fix roads generates about $450,000,
Just a bit more, but yes.
right around
Less than
there.
500.
Less than 500. So we have a tough job. We know the roads are bad. We know there's some that are worse than others, but we know that also that when we look at roads, and Mr. Booth gives us some recommendations, there's a lot of things that we have to take into account. Traffic patterns, are there streets that are close to that street that are bad, that can be used, that are good? How many houses on the street, how many driveways enter that street? Is it a total redo? Does it need curb, gutter, sewer, water? Is it scrap tire eligible? Is it, what's the rate of deterioration? How fast is it falling apart? Is it falling apart at this rate, and then it's slowing down, and some other streets picking up? Is it fiber mat, possibility to put fiber mat out there and get more bang for our buck? Is it a dead-end street, a through street? And then, throw all that in there, and then we want to look at it and say, you know, we have 3 wards, and we try to spend as close to evenly as we can. And I appreciate the resident came forward and, you know, spoke his piece, but it's not just as simple as saying, boy, that's a terrible road, let's just throw some money at it. There's a lot of things we have to look at. And to say that we are favoring a certain part of town, I would have to say that I have not witnessed that yet. That's my take on that. Does anybody have anything else?
Hearing nothing else, Your Honor, I make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Before we adjourn, November 9th and 10th, historical. It's the 10 most, the people who influenced St. Clair. Is Bodat? Is that what that is?
Oh, boy.
Okey dokey.
They're gonna talk about Katie Balfour, Miss Langley, and all those good.
Sarah Langley.
What days and what times?
November 9th and November 10th.
At what
10
times?
people who made St. Clair a difference in St. Clair. What's the times on those?
7 o'clock Thursday night, 1 o'clock Friday afternoon.
Good.
Thank you. And then, as Mr. Booth said, November 17th, Santa Parade at 6 o'clock. All right, so we have a motion to adjourn. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have a good night, everybody.